Hey guys, hope you're doing well out there. Today's video we're going to talk about picking the right fertilizer for your centipede lawn as well as maybe other grass types as well. But I wanted to go into the specifics of why I chose what I chose this year and the ingredients behind it and why we want to pick certain things over others, certain products over others. Um, so one of my favorite things to do every year is pick out a fertilizer for uh, our May application. I like to do an application in early May, centipede, let it wake up thoroughly and not fertilize it too early. That's a key. But there are several ingredients you want to look for when picking out the proper fertilizer for centipede because it is very unique. It's not like Bermuda. It's not like, it's a little similar to St. Augustine. But even then it's got its own kind of characteristics and its own needs that are very unique as far as the different grass types are concerned. It's a lot less of a nitrogen hog than Bermuda. Bermuda will like just about anything you throw down on it because whether it's fast release, slow release, a high nitrogen number or a low, it's going to like anything you do. Centipede, on the other hand, you have to be pretty particular about the product that you select, and there's a lot of things that I look for, and as you can see behind me here, that is what I ended up choosing this year. I'm gonna flash up a picture of the label, but let's talk about why I chose what I chose, okay? I went with an Espoma Lawn Food for my May 1st application. Um, and the reason I did, one of the most fun things I like to do every year is just kind of look on the internet, see what's out there. There are countless products to choose from out there, and I like kind of finding the hidden gems that aren't just like uh, kind of what everybody else is using or whatnot. Um, but there are probably 3 or 4 products that I narrowed it down to, and these would all be very good products to use on your centipede lawn. They have zero phosphorus, which centipede again does not like because it ties up the iron. Iron is what's needed for the green effect to take place in the photosynthesis process. So when we're looking for a centipede lawn fertilizer, and this is kind of an addendum to my last fertilizer video that I did back in the fall, but for those who haven't seen that one, you can go back and look at that one. But this one's going to be a little bit more detailed as the ingredients that we want to select. So we're looking for zero phosphorus. We're looking for a nitrogen number anywhere between like 9 and maybe like as high as 18. So with that in mind, I scour the internet and kind of look at what's out there, and there's really not a whole lot to choose from as far as the centipede fertilizers are concerned. That's why they're kind of tough to find. But I ended up going with an Espoma lawn food that's a 1505. So as we discussed before, the first number, 15, is the amount of nitrogen in the bag. 0 is the amount of phosphorus. Like I said, you typically want 0 phosphorus with centipede. And the 5 is the potassium, the percentage of potassium. So that 1505 caught my eye, and then one thing you want to do when you're picking out your fertilizer is look at the label. Don't just go based off the 3 numbers on the front. Now that's a good start, but really go into the label and see what it's derived from. You want to specifically look for this little section at the bottom of the ingredients that says derived from. And this one happens to be derived from poultry manure, methylenurea, which is a slow release. Those are both slow release forms of nitrogen. So that's the organic portion of the product. And this product is really kind of a hybrid, synthetic and organic. I don't want to go full synthetic. That's just my preference. I like to nourish the soil, and the synthetics out there over time, if you use those over and over again, they're going to deplete your soil and really hinder your soil. Cause it's more prone to disease, it's more prone to insect problems, it's more prone to compaction, it's more prone to the nutrients leaching out of the soil, meaning they just disappear and go into either the waterways or the air. So the organics those are going to be more slow release and just healthier for the soil and thus the plant as well. So what I'm looking for is really a combination of the both when we do this first application. Yes, I am putting a little synthetics down with the methylene urea, but there's a lot of good stuff in here too, so let's review this. Um, let's talk about the nitrogen sources. So like I said, it's derived from poultry manure, methylene urea, ammonium sulfate, and then urea. Urea on Centipede, you really don't want to get a product that's full urea, like 100% or even more than 60-70% urea. If you want to get a quick release nitrogen, ammonium sulfate would be the best way to go, and that's a 2100. If you just got a bag of ammonium sulfate, which I've seen at Home Depot this year, it's a 2100, and it is a quick release form of nitrogen, which Centipede would like, but it's I prefer to have some slow release in there, just because Centipede likes to be kind of low and slow, and kind of the less the better. And so what I like about these nitrogen sources is half of them are slow release and half of them are quick release. So you're getting kind of the best of both worlds. The slow release is through the poultry manure and the methylene urea, and the quick release, it has a dose of ammonium nitrate in there, or ammonium sulfate, I'm sorry. So we talked about the zero phosphorus, that's important with Centipede. It also has 5% potassium, and this is contained with sulfate of potash, or SOP, or it's also called potassium sulfate. So that is the source of potassium that you want to use with Centipede, preferable over muriate of potash, or MOP. Muriate of potash is a lot cheaper for manufacturers to develop, and it's more of a saltier type of potassium, which I don't know about you, but I don't want to put down a whole lot of salt, which is technically what synthetic fertilizers are. I mean, you're putting down a whole lot of salt on your lawn and your soil. That's a big reason why your soil is so depleted over time if you use synthetics. Now, the best synthetic fertilizer that I've seen for Centipede, and I talked about this in my prior video last year, but it's by Fertilome, and it's specifically called Centipede Lawn Fertilizer. And I actually saw some the other day at my local garden shop. They had it in stock, which is kind of tough to find, but it's a 15015, and it does have 3% iron, which is great, and it's got other micronutrients in it. But I'm trying to stay away from the full synthetic products, but if you want to go synthetic and get that kind of immediate response where it's going to respond within 3 to 5 days, then that's a great product to use. But keep in mind, you are putting down a fair amount of salt, and that potassium source is muriate of potash. So other things this Espoma contains that I liked, other than the sulfate of potash, it's got 2% sulfur. So Centipede, it likes sulfur. It likes to stay in acidic soil. So sulfur keeps your pH level low. I typically don't lime my yard, my Centipede yard. I like to keep the pH acidic because it prefers that. So that 2% sulfur is good. And then the 1% iron. It has 1% iron derived from ferric oxide. So you will see a color response from that. And that's something you always want to look for if you in your fertilizer. Not always, but I do like to have iron in there, especially if you're not supplementing iron with like a micronutrient application, or just a liquid iron application. Then you definitely want to get a fertilizer that contains iron in it. And like I said, if you go synthetic, that Fertilome is a great product because it's got 3% iron, and it's got most of the other micronutrients as well. So the only drawback to that product is just the fact that it's fully synthetic. It has no humic acid in it, or microbes or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. So Another great thing about this product here is it contains microbes in it. It's got 624 colony forming units per gram of various bacteria, beneficial bacteria or microbes. So when you throw this stuff down, you're feeding your soil and just making your soil a great environment for these microbes to just go crazy. And you want that. You want that good bacteria in your soil. It's like an ecosystem, right? So, and you want the biology in there to be alive and well and be able to do that cycling. So that's a great thing. I mean, it's got so many good ingredients in it, and I just enjoy trying something different every year. I mean, if this stuff is great success, I might stick with it going forward, but I like to try different stuff, and that's part of the fun for me, is just shopping for different things, finding good products out there and trying them out. And like I said, I narrowed this down to probably 3 or 4 really good options. There's another product called Green that I found, and I've actually used a different product by the same manufacturer. It's called Annuvia Plant Nutrients, based out of Florida, and they make something called Green Tricks, which is a really good product. It's a 16-1-2. That 1% phosphorus, I kind of stayed away from that this year. The 16 is strictly ammonium sulfate, so that's a quick response, quick release nitrogen. And that Green is a 16-02. So that's pretty much the same product as the Green Tracks, only without the phosphorus. So that's another good one that I really liked. And the only negative about that is I think the potassium source is muriate of potash, but it's only 2%. But it does have 16% organic matter that you're putting down. And that's another great thing. You're adding organic matter to your soil. So another thing I wanted to mention about the Espoma that I picked out is that I double checked with the people over at domyown.com. They're kind of experts on their products, and they're good at answering any questions you might have. And they also have a great Q&A section of every product, so you might see a question out there that has already been addressed, that they've answered fully and completely. But I wanted to ask them, is this product homogeneous? And that's another big thing that I look for when I'm looking for a fertilizer. Meaning, is every prill have the same amount of nutrients in it? So you don't have a bunch of heterogeneous prills which all contain something different. You don't have a prill for nitrogen, a prill for potassium, a prill for the microbes, where they're all separated in there, and you're not going to get that good of coverage. Every prill in this bag is homogeneous, meaning it's got the same amount of nutrition in it. So that's a big thing that I look for. That means your coverage is going to be a whole lot better. Like in a square yard, you won't have 3 pellets of nitrogen and 1 of potassium and 2 of whatever else. They're all the same. So all the prills that you throw down are going to have the same ingredients. So that's a huge thing. So that's what you want to look for. Another product that I saw that looked very good, it's manufactured by the Andersons. It's a 1608. It's got 8% sulfate of potash. It's also got humic acid in it, and it's got slow release nitrogen. And the 16 is a good number where you're not going to be throwing down like tons of nitrogen. If you do 3 pounds per thousand, you know, that's only 0.48 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, which is a great feeding in like May, early May. So that was a product that I almost got. It does have that good humic acid in there. It's got iron, it's got micronutrients. Actually, it doesn't have micronutrients, but it does have slow release nitrogen, and I think it has a component of quick release as well. But that was a good one that made the top 3 or 4 list. So just keep those things in mind when you're picking out a fertilizer. Again, it's totally up to you, but I like to incorporate at least some healthy, beneficial ingredient in there. So keep those things in mind. I hope that helps. I'll let you know what the results are of this Espoma Lawn Food. Again, it's a 1505, and if you want to try this product out, I'll link to it down in the description below. I think it's like $33 a bag, but it covers 6,000 square feet, so that's a pretty good bang for the buck. And especially with all the good ingredients in there, I thought I'd give it a try, and I'll review this product when I put it down in May. I'll give it a good probably 2 or 3 weeks, so I can give it a good honest review and see. But I'm confident that it'll be a good product because it's got all the things that I just reviewed. I mean, all those things, I think it's going to be very good, and we'll see if it is. But even if you don't see a huge visual response, you know that you're putting down the right ingredients for Centipede to flourish. So sometimes it's not, immediate results. You put the right products down over time, you're going to see those benefits and that visual response that you're looking for. For those of you who follow the channel, in honor of Masters Week, I planted some azaleas yesterday. So I got 3 different colors. I think that'll look pretty cool over the course of the year, and just kind of line this bed a little bit better, make it look a little bit more appealing. But for those of you who follow the channel, come follow me, and I'll come take a look at this area that I've got back here. It is a kind of a little patch of grass back here that I use for kind of various products and stuff like that over the course of the last few years. But this year I wanted to do absolutely nothing but mow it. So I'm going to call this area the 0 zone. So there's going to be 0 inputs, no fertilizer, no humic acid, no micronutrients, no iron, nothing, no herbicides for weeds, no fungicides, no insecticides. I mean, absolutely nothing. And I'm not even going to water this back here. I'm going to let Mother Nature totally take care of it. All I'm going to do is mow it, keep it at 1.5 inches, and I think we'll be surprised how well this area does. I mean, it gets a good amount of sun, as you can see, and since Centipede is so minimal with its requirements, I think it's going to do pretty well. We might be shocked to see how well it does, actually, but I thought that'd be a cool little thing to see. If we can compare this area that just gets mowed versus the rest of the yard back here that I'm going to treat with everything I know. So that'll be cool to check out. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Have a good day.